Hey Spuddies, PotatoMcWhiskey here, and welcome back to Let's Play Civilization 6 as Persia in our kind of just let's chill game. Now, a couple things that are coming up. We are getting a couple of settlers out in the next 2 turns, although one of these settlers will complete and then the other one will have its price increased. So don't expect both of these to come out in the same turn, although it is possible, you never know. We've also got a settler popping out in Agai pretty soon, and another one in Pella pretty soon. Unfortunately, looks like the Netherlands managed to get a horseman into Eindhoven, which is going to make my life a little bit harder to kill that city, but I am making significant progress over here. May as well take the commando promotion and clear out the scouts so we can get a full surround. We have broken this city's ability to heal, so at least any damage we do to it will be at least somewhat permanent. Looks like Susa is the first place to pop out a settler. Now I have lined up a couple of cities for the plan right down here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to settle them ones first. I think I'd like to get a hold of this area, at the very least get a hold of this choke point to potentially make sure that I can't really be attacked along this line. This is the kind of settling pattern that I'm looking at right here. I kind of want to be coastal ideally, and these two cities are going to be in a nice line with each other. I can also pop a city right down here on top of this salt. Now I could move it up 1 tile to the northwest, and I'm not entirely against that idea, but I think these 3 cities will cover basically all of this nice flat land in here, and we can fill most of that in with farms. There is an argument to be made to move the city 1 tile northwest. It would capture maybe a little bit more of the city-state stuff and give a bit more room for Susa. So you know what, I think in the interest of just trying to make efficient use of the land, I will pop this one up here. I want to spread my cities out a little bit in this game because I have a lot of room to expand, so I kind of want to have a bit of room in between my cities. Whereas if it might seem counterproductive, but if you have a lot of room, spread your cities out a little bit, and if you don't have a lot of room, cram your cities together because you need to get as many as you can. But in this particular game, we have plenty of room. I think I'm going to settle right over here first. Unfortunately, I don't have a unit to protect me in this endeavor, but I do have the extra movement speed from declaring a surprise war, so that's going to work out pretty nicely for me. With regards to follow-up cities after this, there's not really much room left on this freshwater, but I am getting all this freshwater to myself, which I'm a big fan of. And there might be room for a city or 2 up here in the northwest, and maybe 1 city up here in the northeast. Possibly 2 cities up here, depending on how I'm feeling. And definitely room for at least 3 cities along this sort of axis as well, depending on whether or not I can actually kill Eindhoven. That's kind of up in the air right now, because there is this Mohenjo-Daro problem. Oh, never mind. I was able to make peace with Mohenjo-Daro, so I guess that's not really a problem at all. Cool. There is a bit of a question of whether or not I want to make another settler here in Susa, and I think I am going to go ahead and pull out another settler in here. I think it would be a good move, however, to maybe place some of these districts. I'm not entirely against that idea. At the very least, I'm going to place a harbour, because it only cost me 90 gold, and it will lock in a district at a relatively good price of 151. Ideally, I could also lock it in this industrial zone. Alright, we got a couple of shots on Eindhoven. The city is still a little bit too strong for me to start really hitting it. I'm going to need to get all my guys into attacking positions, in particular the crossbowmen and the archers. But we can start chipping away at the city in the next few turns, and it should fall in a relatively quick order. Just picked up mathematics. I don't really have a Petra city. The best Petra city I have is right here, and it's only like a couple of desert tiles. If I had maybe taken over Zanzibar, you could make an argument for it. The other alternative would be to settle on this geothermal up here and try to get a Petra up here, but I don't really think that's worth chasing. I just don't think this is a game for Petra for me. I do really like going for Petra, but usually if I'm going to go for it, I want to know that I'm going for it like way earlier in the game. Sweet, so we have a full surround of Eindhoven with chariots. I'm going to pull this warrior back. He's not really doing anything over here anymore. And we'll just get the stuff like this crossbowman and these 2 archers to keep pounding this city. They'll get some experience out of this, which is always nice. And we will just slowly chip away at the health of this city. As much as I'd love to directly attack with my chariots, I'm going to hold off on doing that because I'm worried about just taking too much damage and then having reinforcing units kind of ruin my day. Nice. An opportunity to steal a barbarian encampment from the Congo and also grab myself a nice promotion on this guy. Feels pretty good, man. This is the kind of thing I was worried about, a horseman coming out of the fog of war to cause me issues. See, what can I do about this? I could fall back. I could promote. Chariots are a little bit too weak to really take this guy on. Well, first things first, let's go ahead and hammer this city a little bit with these units. I think I'll get you to back up a tile. Take a shot at this guy just to pare him down a little bit, and then I'll bring this warrior up here to block so that we have just a better angle of attack here. And sweet, looks like my picking of the Great Prophet thing worked out, because I did manage to grab myself a religion. There's still one religion left. Amazingly, I got the 4th religion. That means I'm going to want to get myself a holy site at some point. Now, there's not a whole lot of great spots for a holy site in my empire. But at the very least, maybe having a religion wouldn't be too bad of a thing. Now, this would take 37 turns in here. I'd like to get it relatively quickly. I guess I could get it in Tarsus. I could plug it right down here, but if I'm going to do that, I'd like to chop that tile first. So what I'll do is I'll buy that tile with a little bit of gold. The holy site is 18 turns. Since we did just finish a settler in here, we'll chop that. That'll bring the holy site down to 15 turns. And so in the not too distant future, we'll be able to get a religion here in Tarsus. I'll do another chop over here in Agai. Not really looking to do this, just kind of want a place to put another farm for a farm triangle. And a lot of this forest and jungle is going to have to be preserved, at least some of, if not most of it is, for lumber mills. Settlers in place here. Let's go ahead and plop them down. That is Ranka. Not sure what I want to build here. I mean, eventually I am going to want a harbor, so I may as well place that. Considering this city is like right on the edge of my empire, I'm going to get started on ancient walls in here, and I'll eventually get around to like doing some useful stuff in this city. I think I'm going to send this settler over here to have a buffer city with the Congo, and then we'll eventually fill in this gap here. Wait, is this 3 tiles away? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so I will be able to fill this in here. As I hoped, this horseman attacked my warrior, and I should be able to clean him up with a couple of hits from my normal units. And we can continue to sort of batter down this city turn by turn. It's a very slow battle, but it is worth it to take this out because the loyalty pressure over here is just a little bit too much for me right now. Looks like we've actually got a warrior wandering around causing me issues. I think my leveled up warrior should have no problem dealing with that. Looks like a horseman popped out of this city to cause me an issue. I can do a lot of damage to him, but I'm worried about this chariot dying. I've gotten lots of nice units here blocking. Tell you what, if I swap you, can you hit him? You cannot. I think this guy can hit him though, and I might be able to get a kill here if I do this. Damn, really? He's gonna survive on basically no health. But I suppose the good news is I will have ideal terrain and defensive bonuses in my advantage. Of course a barb camp would appear here right when I need it not to. Let's get this archer on the task. Pikeman is kind of scary. Just settled the city of Tushpa. It's a nice piece of the land. Oh god, more barbs are appearing up here. Does not feel good. Similar to Zranka, Tushpa is kind of on the forefront of my empire, so I'm going to want to rush ancient walls in here just for a little bit of defensiveness. Just peace of mind, really, so that I have a little bit of time before the Congo can get to me. Arabia wants me to stop settling near them. I'm going to accept that deal because I want the Diplo favor and I want to remain friends with them. Okay, it's time to get an alliance with Arabia and secure our friendship for a longer period of time. So I think in this instance, I might go ahead and get myself a military alliance and see. Yeah, they want me to give them 1 gold, so I will. And I'm curious if they will join my ongoing war. No, it looks like they won't join my ongoing war. In either case, we are chipping away at Eindhoven, but I think I'm a little bit worried about these chariots getting killed because I did see a pikeman in the fog of war out there, and there's also a bunch of warriors. I don't know where the hell they're coming from, but they're running around out here causing me an issue. Thankfully, this pikeman isn't moving, and I will get a good opportunity to take him out. I'm going to have this chariot parked here. He'll have 3 movement to clear that out should he step out to attack this archer. Bit of a drought, but it's not the end of the world because I don't really have any cities over there where that is. I do have a city planned for here. It's kind of annoying that a drought can happen here despite the fact that there are plenty of forests in the area. Now this settler in particular, I think I'm going to send to here to get this city online. This will form a nice little core of cities, and this one can get fresh water from the lake here. Now I could potentially build the pyramids in Agai, but that would delay any more settling that I would do, and I would like to do more settling. Probably be a good idea to focus a little bit more on growth in this city. We are about to get farm triangles activated, which is a good move as well. It would also be smart for me to get a granary in here to allow this city to continue to grow. So I'm going to spend a little bit of money and purchase that granary, and the question is, do I actually want to go for this pyramids? You know, looking at this terrain, it would make a lot more sense if I had Magnus around here. And did a bit of chopping. I'm going to skip the pyramids this game, and instead I'm just going to get to work on another settler. This one will take a very long time, but this city will grow pretty rapidly now. It can grow up to 3 more times before it starts suffering housing penalties. It'll grow really, really rapidly and start working more tiles, and then hopefully I'll be able to get a builder down here from Pasargadae to improve it a little bit. This pikeman is almost dead. In fact, I could potentially kill it right here, but if I don't kill it with this hit, it would be a major loss. Right, so we've got our units fortified. I'm curious why you can't shoot over. Oh, it's a geothermal fissure on a hill, so I can't shoot over it, which really sucks. I would love to get this crossbowman into the fight. Let's go ahead and swap this back. Keep hammering the city. We should soon be able to take this out. It's only a couple turns, maybe 1 or 2 from falling. All right, let's see if we can take this out this turn. So we'll hammer the city here. Yeah, I don't think we'll be able to kill it this turn with this level of investment in terms of military. Let's see, let's try and just throw all of our units at it. And maybe it's enough. Okay, we did take it out, and we're going to raise it. And then immediately look for peace. So it looks like she'll pay me a little bit of gold, and I can get that peace, no problem. So we're out of war with the Netherlands. We have raised the 2 cities that were offensive to us, and we're still trying to deal with some barbarians causing us a few issues. But we have cleared out this barb camp at least, which is going to net us a bit of era score, which I'm pretty happy about. Time to settle this city right here, although it is at a movement speed, so we won't be able to do that this turn. But soon enough, we'll have a city parked down here. And amazingly, despite the fact that I killed both of those Dutch cities, the loyalty over here is still really, really rough. I guess that's probably just down to the fact that these cities aren't very big in terms of population, and they're quite far away from this area. Either way, I still do plan to settle in around here, but it'll take a few turns before I can get those settlers out. You're probably wondering why I'm not building the Ancestral Hall if I'm continuing to settle. It's just not going to be out in time for it to really matter, is the problem. So I'm probably just going to opt for the Warlord's Throne. I still need to get a Holy Site in here, and I need to get the Huey Toakali. I kind of need to start buying some tiles, in particular these lumber mill tiles. I think, if we look here, yeah, we're still researching construction, and I really need to get a water mill. I think Susa is the right place to get a watermill. I'd love to get a granary in here as well. You know what? I'm going to do the double purchase. I'll buy this next turn, and that'll help this city not only produce more, but also grow bigger. It doesn't have a whole lot of productive tiles in here, so any sort of production it can get in terms of watermills and stuff like that is helpful. Okay, the Maori are denouncing me because I have a bajillion grievances against players, which is, you know, kind of the way that we wanted to live. There's feudalism. We definitely want to now change our government. Now that we're out of war, we don't need oligarchy anymore. Let's go ahead and pop into Classical Republic. And here are the 3 things that we want. We want serfdom, urban planning, and colonization, alongside a charismatic leader for now. This is like the perfect Sim City. We'll be able to build lots of builders. We'll have lots of production. We'll get stuff done nice and quick. Let's go ahead and purchase this tile to put a lumber mill on it in the future. Oh god, I forgot I hadn't researched lumber mills. I thought I'd researched them. I kind of forgot. My bad. All right, let's go ahead and settle the city of Gordian. Now, of course, the very first thing we're going to want in here is an aqueduct. Yeah, it's pretty much the only thing that makes sense. Just quickly get this as fast as humanly possible. Never, ever, ever accept demands. It actually makes the AI hate you more. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Let's head towards mercenaries. I have basically 0 infrastructure still, but I'm pretty confident I'll be able to win this game in some way. I don't know what way I'll win it yet, but we'll get there. Monument done over here in Bactry. There is an argument to be made. I'm not really sure how I want to try to win this game. Here's what I'm thinking with Bactry. I think I'm going to do a holy site. I think I'm going to do a theater square here. And then sort of that's the district development in here. This will be very culturally oriented with a trade route district, not very focused on production in any sense of the imagination. Now I could potentially, if I wanted to do something like this, I could put an aqueduct here with a holy site along here, and then maybe like a industrial zone here. Now that covers up a lot of really nice forest tiles that we could take advantage of, as well as like potentially paradisa tiles. This would be a sort of more advanced version of this city. You know what? I have the land to pull this off, so I'm going to place the aqueduct and kind of commit to this layout instead. In the meantime, I really just need more builders and traders and stuff like that, so I'm going to cancel the aqueduct. Really, my problem right now is that none of my tiles are upgraded in most of my cities, so I need to do a lot of tile upgrading to get cities to be anywhere near productive. For example, my capital is working at least 2 unimproved tiles, which is far from ideal. I mean, at the very least, I could put another farm here and another farm here and make this into a really, really big city in terms of population and get a lot of value out of Pingala. All right, sweet. So we just got lumber mills, which is going to make this city's life a lot easier. Now it actually has productive tiles, in particular lumber mills. So it's going to start producing a lot more production than it was before. Unfortunately, I won't be able to put lumber mills on these jungles for a very long time, but I can get these quarries online, which is at the very least a bit of a consolation prize. However, I might harvest this quarry right here, because it is only, although now that I'm looking at things, you know, if I settled a city right here, I could aqueduct to here and then put an industrial zone here, and that would be like a really good industrial zone. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself in terms of that sort of stuff. I think I'm just going to go ahead and place a couple of quarries on this and leave it at that. And speaking of industrial zones, it's about time that I started picking up apprenticeship. I would like to get a couple of mines out, but you know, just the way things work, the land is relatively flat. If you're wondering what I'm doing with my army over here, I'm trying to stand them on spots that the AI might want to settle. So like, for example, any of these tiles right here, they look like they're potentially places the AI would want to settle, right? Because they already settled a city here. So if I stand on these tiles, the AI won't be able to settle them, and I can kind of bring my army over, or not my army, my own settlers over at a later date. Speaking of these farms I was planning, I may as well throw them down now. Because if I can get these up, this city will be able to grow and produce more for me. Time to get our very first quarry over here. That gives us a nice 2-3 tile, which is kind of in line with this lumber mill, which is awesome. Because again, just trying to get this production number up. Zaranka has finished its walls. I'd love to get the watermelon granary up, but I also think the city could make a lot of work happen if it got itself a builder. Now, it'll take a while to get this builder up, but I can get these 2 crabs online, I can get this sugar online, and I can get a lumber mill online, or potentially even chop and place a mine here. In fact, I think I might chop and place a mine. I think that works out a little bit better. That'll use up all 5 charges of this builder, and we'll make this into a relatively powerful city, and then we can start looking at things like watermills, granaries, monuments, and more districts. Second quarry up for Tarsus, looking good in here now, up to 12.6 production per turn. Still not amazing by any stretch of the imagination, especially if we're going to be looking to try to get something like Huey Toakali. In fact, if I were to place Huey Toakali right here, on this tile, I could place a theater square right here on this tile, and then that's actually a pretty nice little layout here for getting really, really good adjacency and all that sort of stuff. And eventually, I suppose you could make the argument that we could put a water park here or so, depending on how we want to place it. But this is looking potentially like it has a good late game setup for me. It's probably a good idea to not forget to place the harbour. Now the question is, do I want the harbour beside the industrial zones to potentially give them a little bit more adjacency? Or do I want it beside my city centre for the extra harbour adjacency? It's probably better placed beside my harbour. Or sorry, my city centre. Get this farm up as well, and now this city is well on its way to becoming a population powerhouse. It's able to grow extremely rapidly, it has a massive food surplus, and it might even be time to start considering building a couple of districts in here, because we've been slacking on the districts. We have a campus up, but it's a very weak campus, and we never built a library. And now that other cities are starting to have the production to get their own builders, it might be time to start to properly develop my capital. It's missing an aqueduct, it's missing a granary, it can place another district. There's a lot of ways that we can improve this. I suppose it's about time we made our way to exploration to pick up Merchant Republic. This is a pretty good one, especially with that inherent effect that's going to help me catch up with my districts, because I've been really slacking on districts so far. Nabbed ourselves a holy site in Tarsus. I'm a little bit scared to actually found this religion, because it looks like we could lose it real fast. There's a whole bunch of Protestant missionaries running around inside my territory, so I might wait until I have a bit of faith built up, as well as this district built up. Now, I've actually taken a look at the situation, and I've decided that this city is going to go ahead and build the Ancestral Hall anyway, because I still do have so much room left to settle that I think it will actually pay off if I can get this in a reasonable amount of time. And I'm instead going to build the Huey in my capital using this city, because it's pretty much well developed. It doesn't have a huge production line, which is a bit of a downside, but it will be able to do certain things better than this, just because this is going to be locked up doing other stuff for a while. Probably about time that I managed to buy a granary in my capital. I'd also like to maybe buy a barracks in here to give it a little bit of production. It would also be able to be worked, the barracks, which would give me +2 production, which would probably be better than some of this food later on. But yeah, look at that. It's growing so fast. It has a maximum population of 12 now that I bought both of the granary and the barracks, because I think the combined effect of those was +2 from the granary and +1 from the barracks, which is going to let this city just get huge. I'll sell off a little bit more my Diplo favor to Arabia. I still have pretty bad grievances, which is hurting my ability to generate diplomatic favor, but that is slowly going away. I'm losing 8 per turn, so it's probably on the order of like 30 turns to lose 240, so I'm probably like 40 to 50 turns away from having all these grievances turn away. And if she does anything to me in the meantime, I will gain grievances, and that'll kind of cancel this out. Okay, so it's great that she denounced me, actually, because that should, in theory, lower the amount of grievances that I have against her, which is going to make my life easier. I'm going to vote for myself just once. In fact, you know what? I'm going to vote for Arabia, because that way it gives me a potential to actually win this, and I might trade with Arabia. I will also vote for myself on this one in the hope that I win by default. So it looks like voting for Arabia worked out for me in this case. Saladin probably would have been able to win that on his own, but I think my support will be appreciated. Unfortunately, Movember won this one. If I had even 10 Diplo favor, I could have voted for myself twice and got those nice culture bombs, but I didn't. Sort of another one of these situations where I'm having a hard time justifying building a mine here. The Paradisa is just so nice with the extra culture and gold that, like, I feel like it's better than a mine almost, in terms of the production that it's going to give my empire. This is exactly what I was worried about. Look at this swarm of missionaries. I'll have to found a religion much later in the game. So unfortunately, my recording program cut out, and we lost about 5 turns, maybe 4 turns of video footage. But I don't think that really changes much of what we're doing. We're kind of just continuing on as we were. I'm not sure if there's anything major that I changed in that time. We're basically, like, we just basically finished a builder over here. We're still working on the industrial zone. We're about to finish Ancestral Hall. Aqueducts are coming out. Settlers are coming out. We're still working on settlers in several places. So I don't think there's anything really to report, but I think that's a good a point as any to call this the end of this episode. I hope you guys are enjoying this more chill playthrough. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.